presented by Smile Direct Club. In Las Vegas, in the Mountain West, two hot teams. Boise State has won 8 of 10, and of course UNLV just took down then #4 San Diego State. Rich Waltz along with Dan Dickau, and here your starting lineups. And Dan Dickau, two guys to watch. Derek Alston Jr., who lit up UNLV the first time they played, and Bryce Hamilton of UNLV, Player of the Week in the conference.
Yeah, start with Bryce Hamilton of UNLV. Big week, as you mentioned, the reigning Mountain West Player of the Week. He's a slashing, aggressive guard that is great in transition, can do it off the bounce in the half court. And Alston Jr. has struggled as of late, but he's an extremely versatile wing who can score inside and out.
Marquee matchup as Hamilton is introduced to a senior night crowd here at the Thomas and Mack. Newcomer Abu Kijab, the transfer, became eligible in January. He's made an impact. And Elijah Mitru-Long, the Texas transfer for UNLV, is coming on strong.
Yeah, the nature of college basketball these days is how quickly can you get your transfers acclimated. Well, Kijab for Boise State has been a nice surprise. But Mitru-Long, the last 3 games, he's been terrific.
This is the final conference game for Boise State. UNLV has another one after this. But next week is the Mountain West Tournament, and the way these two teams are playing right now, both of these teams have a shot at winning that tournament. Coaches, please, here we go. Leon Rice has the Broncos rolling right now. They're 87 in the net. They're at 19 and 10 and 11 and 6. And they took down New Mexico handily on Sunday. TJ Otzelberger for UNLV. Well, all the running Rebels did their last time out was beat San Diego State. Unbeaten San Diego State at the time, 66-63, and that was at San Diego. They won 3 straight, and impressively for UNLV, 2 of those wins, one at Viejas against San Diego State and the other in the pit against New Mexico. That's impressive. Both
Difficult places to play, but TJ Otzelberger's message is starting to get through. They've been great on the offensive glass throughout the year because they're not a great shooting team, but they're beginning to value the ball, take care of it, not turn it over, and thus they've been more efficient.
They are, of course, the running Rebels. There's your series history. Boise State won in Boise in early January. What's the tempo of this game?
Well, both teams will run selectively. Neither one want to play at a breakneck speed, but both are good in the half court in different ways. Boise State will space you and knock down threes, where UNLV is going to attack you off the bounce a little bit more.
Jessup, corner 3. Alston right out of the gates. Shebo with the rebound for UNLV. And the running Rebels hold on to it. Now it is senior night, and Elijah Mitru-Long is getting the start. We've seen Marvin Coleman in the starting lineup, the sophomore. But Shebo and Mitru-Long, both seniors, starting. Mitru-Long's played quite well lately. So has Amari Hardy, stopping and starting and missing.
It's an interesting matchup. Alston guarding Hardy, about 8 inches taller, but he's got the ability to keep him in front with his quickness laterally.
Mitru-Long, a steal and a 3. Rebound and offensive rebounding is a strength for UNLV.
Over 12 a game. They aren't a great shooting team, and when that's the case, you're freed up to go to the glass without any concerns or worries.
Broncos like to shoot the 3. Kijab can do that, and he can drive. And no finish. The Rebels shot 57% in the first half in the win, the upset win against San Diego State. And they had a huge lead, a 14-point lead early in that second half, and almost lost it.
Yeah, probably their best half of basketball in the season. Only one made field goal the last 10 minutes, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. A win's a win, especially over #4.
Well, this man had a lot of made free throws down the stretch. Mitru-Long, clutch free throws to seal that win. Still looking for our first points tonight, almost 2 minutes in. Shot clock runs down. Shebo, the lefty, And the Arizona State transfer misses from 21 feet. This is R.J. Williams, who was splendid against New Mexico. 27 and 17, and he's got the first bucket, and he'll get a free throw.
Very rarely do they drop the ball to him on the low block and say, go to work. But after he dominated New Mexico, I'm pretty sure they were clear. Hey, let's give him a chance to see if he can get going again tonight.
Keys to the game.
Well, Boise State on the boards, as I've already mentioned many times. UNLV is great on the glass, and in particular on the offensive glass. And then for the running Rebels, limit turnovers. They've done a terrific job over the last 6 games. If they can do that, they will be at their best.
TJ Otzelberger today was talking about R.J. Williams, the Boise State Bronco, and marveling at his energy and his motor. And he said that one thing the running Rebels have to do is match that intensity, match that motor with the man in the middle for the Broncos.
Boise State now in a 2-3 zone. Don't play a lot of it, but they will on occasion.
And you saw who set that up. Marvin Coleman in the game. And Coleman right away delivers a nice assist.
He's been big. He's started since mid-December.
Jessup, that was a closely guarded 3. This is a small Rebel lineup on the floor. Hamilton loves to go left. You got Mitru Long. This is Hardy. Coleman's on the floor. Mitru Long is short on that. And Williams can't hold the rebound.
Dribble penetration against the zone forces help. And then the nice find on the baseline to Hamilton. What you're going to see a lot tonight is 2 teams that will play a lot of 4-guard lineups. And at times, with Blair for UNLV and Williams for Boise State, your 5-man is very undersized as well.
Both teams are cold right now. Ray J. Dennis to Jessup. The other Broncos, they like to play small, very much on the perimeter. With Williams, they're big. He's listed at 6'7". And it's a carry and a turnover.
It seemed as if Williams was trying to invite a double team and then get a quick swing to get UNLV in defensive rotations. Leon Rice doesn't like the call.
They have apps for that now. Send out the invite. Come on down for the double team.
Yes. That's all basketball comes down to, is making defense get in rotation. And when they commit wrong, make them pay.
Both teams look a little tight right now. There's a lot on the line. I mean, if you're Boise State and you win tonight, you could be a 3 or a 4 seed in the Mountain West tournament. UNLV has 2 games left. If they win a couple, well, there's a variety of spots they could end up.
Well, the 2 and 3 are so important because you would have the opportunity to not play San Diego State until the championship game.
Dennis misses. Jessup rebound. Ball's out of bounds. Long time ago, I got a chance to work with a great man, Irv Brown, who's passed away, sadly. And in a game like this early, Irv would say, right now, it's shirts and skins out there.
It's almost as if both teams are feeling each other out. At this point of the season, both coaching staffs know what the other wants to do, but it's just a matter of understanding the wrinkles that have been implemented for tonight's game.
It's a great point. These are tough games to win. Second time in conference you've seen an opponent. Slow start in the Mountain West. Running Rebels and Broncos. A lot of basketball to be played in this city in the next 2 weeks. 2-2 here. Boise State and UNLV Mountain West tournament is coming up next week. A lot of it here on CBS Sports Network. Rich Waltz, along with former Gonzaga All-American Dan Dickow. And right now, the middle of the Mountain West, so improved from January 1. These 2 teams have an opportunity, if they stay hot, to make an impact next week.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is for those teams 2 through 6 is coaches finally got a true feel for what their teams were, or transfers such as Abu Kijab finally got eligible to play.
All right, let's break some stuff down here. It's a little AT&T fast analysis.
Well, let's take a look at Justinian Jessup, the all-time leading three-point shooter in Mountain West history at over 316 made. And they come in a variety of ways. They come in transition. They come off catch and shoots. They come off of ball screens. They come off of rejecting ball screens. A terrific shooter who's undervalued, in my opinion, nationally.
Yeah, Jessup has set all kinds of records, both in the Mountain West and at Boise State. He passed Jimmer, and he's got Sam Merrill on his tail, but Merrill's got a ways to go. Jessup at 316. Jimmer had the old record before this year at 296. Nick Jacobson was a terrific guard, a shooter for Utah State, and Rick Majerus back in the day. And, of course, Brandon Heath, a great Aztec as well. Out of the timeout, let's see if both offenses can get going. Jessup misses badly. Boise State's 0 of 4 from distance. UNLV is 0 of 4 from beyond the arc. And the teams have combined to go 2 for 13 to start this ball game. Check and Bake Jong is in for UNLV. A little bit of size. Mitru Long gets to the rim and scores.
Nice attack by Mitru Long, but George, for Boise State, who just checked into the game, has got to be more aware on the weak side. That would have been his defensive rotation to cover it up at the rim.
Marcus Dickinson in for Boise State, along with Kijab, George, Alston, and Jessup. That's Kijab. And here come the Rebels.
Kijab's an interesting player. He became eligible midway through the year after transferring from Oregon. He's had some really big games, 33 against Cal State Northridge. At times, the ball can stick in his hands a little bit. Struggled against New Mexico the other night where he was focused on shooting from the three-point line.
Now, that's not a strength for Bryce Hamilton, but he's been better, obviously, in Mountain West Conference play. He's averaging 21 a game in conference games. 7 rebounds a game. This is a 7-0 spurt here by UNLV after a slow start. Jessup driving, falling away, and missing. And this Bronco drought continues to open the game. Hamilton going hard, and that's what he does best. He is a rim attacker.
That's what he does best. He's exactly right. He pushes it in transition, gets you to turn your hips, and gets to the rack to foul. But Mitru Long, the nice attack and the unawareness on the weak side from Boise State. But Hamilton sharing and showing a little bit of his expanded game in Mountain West play and the ability to knock it down beyond the arc.
This guy has got to be the most improved player in the league. Last year, 4 points a game, 13 minutes a game. Derek Alston made the huge jump last year for Boise State. And as you see, Alex Hobbs jump into the game. And Hamilton has made the same type of leap that Alston made last year. I mean, in conference play, 21 a game. It's going to be a Boise State ball. 8-2, UNLV on top. Hamilton's out of Pasadena. 6'4", and just a sophomore for TJ Otzelberger, who in his first year has really revived hope here in Las Vegas. The Rebels have played very well of late. Hobbs, a versatile player. UNLV guarding the three quite well right now. Clock down, Dickinson drives. Corner kick, Alston. Got to get it up, Hobbs does. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, just as you drew it up, right, Rich? They struggle shooting the ball all night long, and then you get a banked three. Leon Rice will take it, though.
And out of the made bucket into a zone, drops Boise State. UNLV's not a great three-point shooting team, 31%.
That's a lot of times why you go to a zone. You dare somebody to find open perimeter jump shots and knock them down, and quite frankly, UNLV hasn't been able to do that throughout the season. Get another look at shot clock's winding down. Alston creates defense being put in rotation. Coleman gets there. Hobbs, I'm curious if he called bank. I know the bank is not open in UNLV, although the casinos are at this point at night.
Come on, it's Vegas. Everything's open.
It's not a bank, it's a casino, that's for sure.
Everything's open right now.
That is true. That's one reason I'm looking forward to coming to Mountain West Tournament.
That'd be fun. We got quarterfinals next Thursday, semifinals on Friday, and of course the final in the championship game on CBS on Saturday. That's next week in Vegas. DJ Otzelberger, who had the great run at South Dakota State, 2 trips to the NCAA tournament.
He had some really talented teams at South Dakota State. Mike Dahm was a 6'8" four-man who scored it at over 20 a game, and then he's actually got one of his best players who's sitting out this year, David Jenkins, transferred along with Coach Otzelberger's move.
Marvin Coleman with the hold and the foul, and he's had a really nice recruiting year as well. Moses Wood, a transfer from Tulane, coming in as well, a 6'8" transfer. So next year the Rebels have reinforcements coming to what has been, I think for many people, a surprise team, a team that's overachieved.
Yeah, I had a game of theirs earlier this season, and there was some frustration in Coach Otzelberger's voice, but there was a ton of optimism. Just talking about, hey, once we really start understanding our offense, our spacing, the pace we want to play with, and understanding how hard we have to compete to win, we're going to be okay. And they've proven that.
They were more than okay in the upset at Viejas over San Diego State. And that's a foul on Robin George.
Dribble handoffs are one of the hardest actions to guard, but you cannot just keep running into the defender as George did there. You've got to come to a stop and make the defender choose which path you're going to go over the screen, over or under.
2 fouls on George. And R.J. Williams is back in for Boise State. Coleman whips it out high. Jonah Antonio is there. And that's Shivo missing the 3. Williams sucks up the rebound.
We mentioned UNLV, not much of an outside perimeter shooting team. That's the Jonah Antonio is the exception.
Hamilton the steal. Hamilton the bucket.
The lefty gliding in with the right. Derek Alston was trying to time his steps, expecting Hamilton to come with the inside hand, left hand finish. Nice creative, crafty move by Hamilton in transition. Dickinson's got to keep this dribble alive there on the wing on the post entry level.
Chest up. Boy, he's had a rough start to this ball game. Justinian Jessup now 0 for 4 from the field. Antonio rotates it. Hamilton loves to go. He misses the dunk. Man, when he gets a sliver of daylight, he's gone.
Explosive attacking the rim. Just missed the dunk, but this a nice finish in transition with Derek Alston providing the footsteps.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Smile Direct Club. Straightening smiles for 60% less than braces. By Intuit TurboTax. And by Kit Kat. Have a break. Have a Kit Kat.
The aerial scenics never get old in Las Vegas, do they? 10-5, running Rebels on top of Boise State. Throughout college basketball, these next week and a half, you'll see lots of this. Emotions on senior night, the long road of a college athlete growing closer to a close.
Lots of hard work, dedication put in by the players, lots of dedication, I'm sure, as well from families, which is one of the reasons it becomes so emotional. But it's interesting how some teams are able to channel that emotion in a positive way, which UNLV has done in the first 8.5 minutes or so. We had a game at Boise State last week, and it was the exact opposite. They started off slowly before getting going and eventually winning, but they started slowly after the senior night festivities, and a couple of the seniors struggled that night.
Hamilton is the Mountain West Conference Player of the Week, and a guy who essentially has flipped his season. He averaged like 8 a game in non-conference, and then once he got into the Mountain West, has gone off.
The impressive thing is he's kept it going. The second portion of league play, when you've played teams a second time and scouting reports are a little bit more detailed.
Key jab. Antonio got a hand on that. And it stays with Boise State, 12 to shoot. And that's something that Boise State has not done well. And that's shoot. 2 of 10 from the field, 1 of 5 from distance. And you can see the defense the last 2 games, especially the other night down in San Diego against San Diego State.
Well, they did a great job on Malachi Flynn, who's in the running for All-American consideration for San Diego State. They are becoming a good defensive team under Otzelberger's direction.
Hamilton cut off in the lane. Jessup nicely done. Numbers for the Broncos. Hobbs puts it up and in. And a much-needed bucket for Boise State.
He's been a spark off the bench. 2 of their 3 made buckets are from Hobbs, who struggled on senior night, going 0 for 6 in Boise State.
Marvin Coleman, Bryce Hamilton, and Amari Hardy. This is Hardy. He can shoot it, and he buries the 3.
He's, in my estimation, he's better off the bounce as a slasher attacker, but he's got the freedom to line it up and tee it up behind the arc when possible. He's kind of a guy, he sees one go in, he's going to start looking for that outside shot even more.
Kijab falling away, and that's well short.
And not a good shot. I mentioned with Kijab, at times the ball can stick.
Coleman driving. Hobbs, nicely done. Halfway through first half, UNLV and Boise State. Final week of the Mountain West Conference regular season. Last game of the regular season for Boise State. UNLV plays San Jose State on Saturday to finish their regular season. Nice look. It was Hobbs who finds Kijab. Antonio can shoot the 3. Short on that. Williams' 3rd rebound. Both teams play small. Hobbs found Williams. He couldn't find the ball. Look at Hobbs. Look at that. One hand.
He's been everywhere tonight.
Gets it back. No reset on the shot clock. Williams operating. Williams forces the contact and gets the free throws.
UNLV doubles his possession to go, and not good communication in execution on rotating out of it allows the easy bucket underneath for Kijab. If you're going to double, that's one thing, but you got to fly out of the double team, you got to communicate, and you got to get matched back up.
Vitaly Shebil, his 2nd personal. Friday at 8:30 Eastern. We head to the ice for some college hockey action. Number 6, Denver faces off with St. Cloud State. Waiting for that hockey music. I know you get chills thinking about your Christmas hockey experience. Denver and St. Cloud State, only at CBS Sports Network. What was that, John Stockton's Christmas party? They all went to go play hockey.
I went with my kids to go play hockey. You're right, John Stockton's Christmas party. I finally got in. I slipped and fell. The only time I fell on the ice that night, broke my wrist. But thankfully, I'm feeling much better. But the other hockey part is the Miracle on Ice. It was just a couple days ago. What was it the 40-year anniversary?
40th anniversary.
That was a heck of a story. The movie was tremendous. I'm not a huge hockey fan, but I could watch that movie over and over again. The message Herb Brooks gave, obviously, I don't know if it was word for word in the movie, but it was phenomenal. Any athlete and competitor, I'm sure, gives you chills, ready to play.
That's a scramble for the basketball, and it's a held ball. The arrow is going to stay with UNLV. Low-scoring affair so far. Neither team shooting it that well. Leon Rice and the Broncos like to live on the perimeter, and the running Rebels like to get to the rim. And both utilize a very small lineup.
Both teams will play multiple four-guard lineups. Boise State values shooters, guys who can knock it down and stretch you, where UNLV is a little bit more attacking off the dribble.
Max Rice is checked in for Boise State. Antonio misses a 3. Rebels 2 for 11 from distance. Dennis a floater, that misses everything.
He was caught in between a floater and a little lob on R.J. Williams, but Dennis has a ton of potential as a freshman point guard for Boise State. Just really starting to come into his own as of late.
Mitru Long. Maybe these two teams are going to get all of these missed shots out of their system right now. Williams calling for it, in tight. That's the energy, and that's the motor of R.J. Williams. Rebels running. UNLV, winners of 4 of their last 5 with momentum late in February. You're watching March to March, presented by Smile Direct Club. Here's what's at stake tonight. This is the last week of the regular season and the last game for Boise State. If they win this game, they'll be either the 3 or the 4 seed, depending on what Nevada does in their final game against number 5 San Diego State. UNLV has 2 left, so they can finish in a variety of spots if they win their last 2. Bryce Hamilton, player of the week in the Mountain West. Of course, San Diego State has won the regular season title, claimed the top seed in the tournament. And the battle for second place, 4 teams within a game and a half of each other.
Well, Hamilton has continued his impressive play as of late. 9 points tonight. They're coming in a variety of ways, but when you look at that bottom graphic there, the difference between 2nd and 6th this year in the Mountain West is really nothing. So this last couple games in the preseason is going to be really interesting to keep an eye on, because yes, obviously you want to finish on a high note, but you would also probably like to stay away, quite frankly, from being a 4 seed, to stay away from San Diego State as long as you can in that bracket.
Leon Rice today was talking about that exact thing, about numbers 2 through 6 all are good enough to beat San Diego State. I mean, look at the 6th place team in the conference last night. Colorado State darn near beat San Diego State. In fact, they hit a shot late. That turns out differently. But tip your cap to the Aztecs. They had a 13-0 run late to come back and win that game.
That's a sign of a, excuse me, Rich, a sign of a championship team is when you're put on the ropes. As Mitru Long, the nice step-through finish, is when you're on the ropes, you keep at it and you don't drop your head. Regardless of how much time is left on the clock, you compete to win. San Diego State has continued to do that throughout the season.
This was a nifty move.
Oh, poor closeout by Ray J. Dennis, and then Mitru Long making sure everybody in Thomas and Mack understands what he did. A little step through. I mean, I've seen it. I don't think you need to show it a second time.
7:18 left, first half. 1-1. Jay Green picked up his 2nd personal for UNLV. And this is Alston. Now, Derek Alston was a real pain in that guy's neck the last time these two teams played. Alston had 26 points and 10 rebounds in the win over UNLV.
He's hadn't had very many opportunities yet tonight. UNLV has done a nice job focusing in on him. We'll see if those free throws get him going. He is one of the best in the country at getting to the free throw line. Top 10 in free throw attempts.
Mitru Long, a little no-look, good rotation. And it's Coleman who's way off on the 3.
And there's a reason those shots are open. Boise State is in a zone, and they're trying to take away driving gaps and make you shoot from the perimeter. So sometimes it's fool's gold if you hit an early one. 12 of UNLV's 19 attempts from beyond the arc. I would imagine that's too many for Coach Otzenberger's liking.
Williams high-low. Alston can't hold the entry. And away comes Bryce Hamilton. Good dump down, but Blair's tied up. Held ball, and it's going to go the other way.
Heck of a catch by Blair. Hamilton got into the teeth of the defense and threw a rifle pass from about 5 feet away. Blair able to snag it, but Boise State, a nice job by Dickinson to tie him up. Heck of a catch. I wonder if he plays football as well for the Running Rebels football team. Do they call them the Running Rebels in football too?
No, just the Rebels.
Just the Rebels, okay.
Only basketball are they running. Those guys pass as well as run. And they'll be playing in a new stadium as well. There's a turn by Williams that he misses. They'll be playing in the Raiders' new stadium this coming fall, which is nearing completion. Just on the other side of the strip. Man, some of these threes aren't drawing anything.
Well, that's what Antonio's in the game for, is to be a three-point threat. And he's taken a couple now, but they've been rushed.
(16-13) UNLV. Marcus Arroyo is the new head coach coming over from the University of Oregon. On December 11th, he was named. Legion Stadium is almost done. They have a beautiful new football training facility at UNLV. Blair's shot won't go. Williams can't hold it. That's a foul. A little late whistle, but Williams got his money's worth, and Coleman is going to go to the line.
Great block by Max Rice, but Williams not quite able to come up with the loose ball for Boise State. Coleman in the right place at the right time. UNLV has been active on the glass throughout the night.
They average a dozen offensive rebounds a night.
And part of that is knowing who you are as an individual and as a team. If you're not a great shooter or a great shooting team, there are opportunities to be had on that offensive glass. Go make another opportunity for yourself. They've done a nice job of that throughout the season.
Coleman misses that free throw. Now the Broncos just 4 of 17 from the field, 1 of 5 from 3. UNLV's not much better. They're 6 of 21 from the field. Pops looking for cutters, finds Jessup, pops out for 3.
The first real good look that he has gotten. 0-5 now on the night. They expect him to get it going. He is a tremendous shooter.
Be true long with Coleman. Hamilton's cut off. You can see the Rebels are just looking for an avenue to drive like that. And a bump Dickinson, I believe, with the foul.
That's where, when you're playing a team like UNLV, regardless of whether you're in man or zone, you've got to stay connected to the scouting report and understand it. Who's a driver? Are they left-handed, right-handed? But then your closeouts, the details have to be great. You can't give them angles to get by you, get to the paint, collapse the defense, and put them in rotation.
Is that why they see a lot of zone? Is because of that? It can cut off penetration, and they're not a great three-point shooting team?
Well, a lot of times, yes. You're going to be zoned if you're not a great three-point shooting team. And many times in zone, you already have built-in help.
Woo! That's a tremendous move. That young man has completely remade his game in the middle of this season.
It's been impressive. As TJ Altsberger says, he's bought in. He's been attentive to scouting reports. He's put in extra time and effort, and it showed.
He's got 11 of UNLV's 19 points. Jessup, this is George. Soft hook, no go there. The Broncos have just 13 points. And obviously, UNLV's not lighting it up right now. They're at 19. Hardy, there's a 3. And Leon Rice pops right off the bench and asks for a timeout. And with good reason. On a cold night for the Broncos, UNLV hits a couple shots. And the Running Rebels lead is now 9. You are watching March to March, presented by Smile Direct Club in Las Vegas. Running Rebels have opened up a 9-point lead. We've been talking an awful lot about this guy, Bryce Hamilton, and what he's accomplished this year.
A tremendous start, 11 points, 3 rebounds on the night. But the thing about him is he's taken coaching, he's accepted it, and it in turn has spurred him to play extremely well ever since December 18th. He has been terrific. Here you see a little bit of a breakdown between non-conference and conference. I mean, he's almost tripling his numbers. He's been more efficient shooting the ball. He's been active on the glass. Talked about accepting coaching. December 18th, he had a struggle of a game against Eastern Michigan with family in town. He took coaching after that. He took it to heart. Since then, he's been in the gym. He's been working. Coach Otzelberger said it's almost as if a light bulb switched on, and everything has been great since.
Yes, work habits have changed. Practices have been impressive. Everything is flipped for this guy, and he's just a sophomore. Now, how does Boise State get points, Dan Dickow?
Oh, UNLV's been active on the offensive glass, on the offensive end, but they've got to find a way to get an easy one. Maybe get a turnover, get out in transition, or get themselves to the free throw line.
That's terrific from Amari Hardy. And this is the biggest lead. Look at the run, an 8-0 run in over 2 minutes. Alston off a screen, drives and finishes.
Well, he needed that. R.J. Williams may have gotten away with a little bit extra on that screen up top, but it freed Alston, who glid in from the three-point line. Nice finish.
Hamilton muscles one up, and he's fouled by Williams.
Activity on the defensive end by Blair with the block shot gets UNLV out in transition. Hardy, typically a hard left-hand driver, that time finishing it with the right.
And a red flag for Boise State. R.J. Williams picks up his second personal. So with 3:08 left, Williams, who leads Boise State with 9 double-doubles this year, still in the game. And it's a 9-point UNLV lead. Ray J. Dennis back in running the show for the Broncos. True freshman. Alston launches. He lets loose with that shot almost behind his head.
He's so long, and he's got a high release.
Mitri Long driving and finishing. He loves the flourish afterwards to it. I think he slapped a few high fives with some fans on his way up the floor.
That's one thing about Vegas. They love some glitz, they love some glamour. Mitri Long has provided that on a couple occasions tonight.
They appreciate a good show here.
They do.
Right? Lead has ballooned to 11 again. Hobbs, almost an extra step. Williams, he doesn't give up.
And he does not.
6 points, 6 rebounds. And remember, he's playing with 2 fouls right now. Hamilton, that's the spin and the left hand. And that's going to be a flop warning.
Good call by the official. Leon Rice wanted a charge, but I would agree. Official David Hall comes over and confirms to us that, yes, it's a flop. Get another look at it. Whoa, he got hit hard. Well, maybe.
Glancing blow, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I know...
I think he was ready to get hard.
I know Bryce Hamilton's a big, strong guy, but R.J. Williams, he looked like he got ran over by Shaq.
Back to an 11-point lead. Williams in the low blocks. Angles in. It's a good job by Nick Blair defensively. And a foul on a reach. And that's R.J. Williams, and that's his third. AT&T at the half is coming up. Adam Zucker, Khalid El-Amin, John Rothstein, and Gary Parrish in our New York studio. Get you up to speed on everything that's happened so far tonight in college basketball, and AT&T at the half. Blair's been terrific in the low blocks against Williams, and that is a tough way in the final minute and a half of the first half to pick up your third foul.
who's done a really nice job of understanding scouting reports. R.J. Williams is a left-hand player who's very left-hand dominant. So Blair's done a nice job of sitting on that right shoulder and creating problems.
George almost walked and he throws it away. Mbake Jong in for UNLV along with Jay Green. Hardy lost it. Hobbs racing. That's contact. And a foul.
But if I'm TJ Otzelberger, I'm okay with that foul. Bryce Hamilton didn't give up on the play, chased Hobbs down in transition, fouled him. Leon Rice over there talking with his assistant coaches, searching for answers. 17 points now in the first half for Boise State. That is not typical of a Bronco basketball attack on the offensive end.
This is a Bronco team that has their scoring average in the high 70s per game. And Riley Abercrombie, a freshman who hasn't played in a while, going to come off the bench. George is out. Williams obviously on the bench with 3 fouls. And Hobbs trying to cut this to single digits. Broncos' lowest output in the first half this year is 23. And the Running Rebels just keep attacking the rim. Amari Hardy.
No real rim protector for Boise State, so if you turn the corner, you don't really have to worry about a shot blocker.
Hardy's got 10. Hamilton's got 13 to lead the Running Rebels. And a block there by Alston. And that'll be his foul.
Hardy continues his aggressive attacking play. Abercrombie, not much of a shot blocker, just checked into the game. He might as well attack when someone's not into the flow of the game yet. Jay Green drawing another foul on Boise State on the interior.
Green is a sophomore, the Australian. Sydney is home. This is just game number 15 for him. And that's a big free throw. He was 1 of 8 from the free throw line before that one. Look at Coleman. Hardy thought about it.
Abercrombie can't come into the game, give up a layup at the rim, and then an offensive rebound on a free throw. That is inexcusable when you're trying to crack a rotation.
Hamilton, shot clock down, and he drills a 3.
And what more can you say about Bryce Hamilton as of late?
Final seconds, first half. Hobbs with 4. Falling away. Got the 3. That's a big shot. Maybe some momentum for Boise State. Alex Hobbs answering Bryce Hamilton. But the Running Rebels at the half with a 12-point lead. After the break, we'll send you to Adam Zucker and everybody standing by in New York with AT&T at the half. You're watching college basketball on CBS Sports Network from Vegas on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. In the Mountain West, 2 teams that have been hot of late, UNLV and Boise State. Rich Waltz along with Dan Dickow. Look, it wasn't a thing of beauty, but if you're TJ Otzelberger, the head coach of UNLV, you like your chances right now with a 12-point lead.
Yeah, and I think the reason why is Bryce Hamilton has been spectacular. Continues to play well after being named the Mountain West Player of the Week, but a lot of their positive attributes are due to Boise State really struggling in that first half.
All right, some AT&T fast analysis Let's take a look.
Boy, a tale of two wings. First for Boise State and Jessup. They get him a great look. Triple screen on the baseline, just doesn't knock it down. 0 for 5 in the first half. Look for that to change because he's such a good shooter. But Bryce Hamilton, rhythm dribble up into a three, a contested three at that. That's a difficult shot. If he can keep knocking that down, holy cow.
It's our AT&T Fast Analysis. Now, it's the 7th time this year Justinian Jessup has had 0 points at halftime. Bryce Hamilton is the player of the week in the conference. With this note, though, Jessup is capable of getting hot in a hurry. So we'll keep an eye on that. And then obviously something has to change if Boise State's going to get back in the game and win this thing. If you're UNLV, man, you keep the ball in that guy's hands, Bryce Hamilton. First possession, running Rebels. Inside, Hamilton over Alston.
They got what they wanted. Hamilton on the low block, no double coming, just couldn't deliver.
Jessup feeds the post. That's key jab against Blair. Got him up, and Blair fouls him.
Deep post catch for key jab. Gets Blair up off his feet. Easy call for the baseline official to make. Key jab struggled in the season finale home game for Boise State against New Mexico and has continued to struggle the first half tonight. 1 of 5. Many times for a volume score such as key jab, you just need to see the ball go through the hoop, whether on a free throw, although he misses first, or an easy bucket such as a layup in transition.
Ouch. Misses 2. Running Rebels. Amari Hardy. He likes to go left as well, and he scores off the glass. Hardy's having a terrific night. He's 5 of 7 from the field, 12 points.
Well, he's a difficult cover because he is always in attack mode. Sometimes the ball sticks, but you gotta love a player who takes it upon themselves to make plays.
Look at UNLV defensively. This team is playing well. Hardy just looked up in time to catch that pass. Biggest lead of the ball game, 14. Blair's fouled, hops on the reach. This guy's had to change his game this year as well.
Yeah, when you look at his size and his build, you would think point guard, but he is really a 2 guard, somebody who wants to put the ball on the deck and create. The effort that UNLV is giving you on the defensive end is what you have to like. They are giving up nothing easy to Boise State.
Hardy gets in the lane again and floats another one up and in. 14 for the junior out of Detroit, who last year dominated the ball. He really didn't have a lot of help offensively. This year he's much better at sharing the ball, working within the offense. Alston got a smaller man on and missed the turnaround, lost the rebound, and a UNLV foul. This is a 16-point lead on a night where Boise State is struggling mightily from the field.
This is where you got to try to find a way to get one of your scorers. Jessup, Alston, or key jab, an easy bucket. And there's key jab. Little screen and roll, nice find, good finish.
And Coleman got popped in the face. Let's take a look and see if we can find it. And that was after it happened.
Looked as if nothing blatant about it.
It's that right hand that came around and caught him. He's, I mean, very quietly done all kinds of good things in this game. 9 rebounds is one of those. Walk on, now has a scholarship.
Shows you the value of understanding your role and then excelling in that role.
Now the officials can do this on an injury like that. They will go to the monitor just to check. Oftentimes that comes at a coach's request, not demand, but suggestion.
Oh, come on. Coaches demand lots of things, that's for sure. Well, flagrant 1 or flagrant 2 is what they're looking at. There's no way it's a flagrant 2, but a flagrant 1 would be excessive or unnecessary, which would give 2 free throws of the ball. To me, that's just an accidental play. Jessup isn't clearing out, trying to get him by any stretch of the imagination. He's just opening up to try to attack off that side pick and roll.
I love the quote by TJ Otzelberger about Marvin Coleman and the impact that he's had this year. Otzelberger has said, and there's a look at the flagrant criteria. Otzelberger said he underestimated the effect that Coleman had on his teammates. He said flat out, we are just a better team when he's on the floor.
I mean, that's just a typical basketball play. I mean, yeah, it looks like Jessup's right arm kind of flies out, but it wasn't intentional. He wasn't doing anything on purpose. And this is where there was a game tonight. The final minute of the game took 16 minutes in review. I was scrolling through Twitter during our halftime break. I can't remember what game it was, but 16 minutes for the final play because there were 3 reviews. I mean, you should take one look at this, move on, go.
Now, oftentimes you focus on the officials and say, hey, man, the officials got to change it. They are, at times, I think in this case, victims of the technology. They can only use the technology and the procedures they've been given.
True.
Correct?
Yes. I mean, they have to be able to use the technology in front of them and use that technology to enforce the rules.
Right.
But at the same time, I mean, that's a basketball play. There was nothing flagrant about it. Let's just move on and get going with this game. Hopefully Coleman's all right. Hopefully he's able to get back in this game and continue to have an impact for UNLV.
One of the 3 officials you would expect may come over, and we get the sign from the officials, not a flagrant, not a foul.
They got it right.
So, Brennan Rebels with the ball, and a massive lead here early in the second half. Remember, they had a 14-point lead. San Diego State early in the second half there, and darn near lost it at the very end. This man hit some big free throws. Mitru Long and a nice pass and finish. That's Green on the cut and Mitru Long on the find. Alston, good ball fake there. Hobbs down the lane, kick. Alston's 3, got it.
Beautiful ball movement. Collapse the defense with the dribble, put defense in rotation, and then keep swinging it till you get an open shot.
Maybe that gets Boise State going. But first they're gonna have to stop Hamilton, who dishes to Blair, and one.
Well, Ray J. Dennis got caught ball watching defensively. Blair sneaks in behind him along the baseline. Hamilton impacting the game now in different ways than just scoring. Green working along that baseline. Possession before.
I mean, just watching UNLV against San Diego State and watching them again here tonight. If they win out, they win tonight and they win on Saturday, they could be the 3 seed. Kick to Dennis.
And again, I've mentioned it a couple times. You don't want to be the 4 because you're able to stay away from San Diego State as long as you can because they played so well. But if UNLV were to make a run in the Mountain West tournament, this being their home court and the site of the Mountain West Conference tournament becomes an enormous advantage for the Runnin' Rebels.
Mitru Long, sweeping hook. My goodness. How good is this right now for the Runnin' Rebels?
Mitru Long has had a number of crafty finishes.
Oh, that was blocked. Green and Hardy were up there. Hamilton, offensive foul. A little too ambitious.
Kijab, a nice job of stepping in front and taking that charge. Many times you need an energy play one way or the other to get you going.
Hamilton.
For UNLV, Hamilton keeps doing everything. This time that block on Hobbs.
That's a great no call by the official.
Absolutely. Real time. It was a great block in slow motion. It was even better.
That charge on Hamilton is his second personal. R.J. Williams in the game. Remember a tough spot for Boise State when he picked up his third. That was in the first half. Alston strong on the rebound, missed the putback on the running Rebels. 18 is their biggest lead. Hardy gets through. Goodness.
Well, Boise State has switched back and forth from man-to-man to zone defense. They haven't found the answer to slowing down the dribble penetration of UNLV.
Williams. Look at the effort. R.J. Williams. And a free throw. Running Rebels, I said they're one of the hottest teams in the conference. Man, maybe they are the hottest team in the conference. They are playing well tonight. Ball movement, buckets, and a big lead. (47-29), UNLV looking great at home. Pound for pound is brought to you by Rogue Fitness, and we focus on the junior Amari Hardy.
He's been terrific tonight. 6 quick points to give him 16 for the game, but he has made quick decisions tonight, whether it's a face-up three or put the ball on the deck and attack. At times, the ball can stick in his hands, but it hasn't tonight. He's been terrific.
7 of 9 is Hardy. Bryce Hamilton is 6 of 8. They both have 16 points. The backcourt for UNLV has been terrific. Elijah Mitru-Long has 8 points. And don't forget Marvin Coleman, who has 9 rebounds.
Boise State can't buy a bucket right now. Doesn't help when UNLV starts off by making 6 of their first 7 to open the second. They've got to find an answer and find it quick.
See the three-point shooting, that's not been there for Boise State. Hamilton kind of forced it, but he got contact and earns 2 more from the stripe. It's a big lead right now. UNLV's up by 18. They could be easily up 25 or 26 if they were shooting free throws tonight. Rebels are 5 of 12 from the line. They've missed some front ends as well. DJ Otzelberger played at Wisconsin Whitewater, was a point guard, and then coached with some terrific coaches, Greg McDermott, Fred Hoiberg, Lorenzo Romar at Washington. He is a no-nonsense guy, and his players have absolutely bought in. That's the impressive thing.
It's always something that I look at as a 3 to 4 year process when a new coach takes over, because you got to implement your culture and you got to give him time to get his kind of players in. So he's had guys that previously here under Marvin Menzies or Otzelberger recruited late who fit in very well.
Alston from Williams. You're right, it didn't happen this quickly. It feels like his culture's here.
I mean, guys are playing hard. The ball is being moved, it's being shared. They understand their strengths and weaknesses, and that a lot of times is a sign of good coaching. You don't let your weaknesses beat you. Limit your weakness, accentuate your strengths.
Coleman's back in after getting scraped across the face, penetrates, and scores. We've got to put together the Mountain West all walk-on team, because I think Coleman's on it. Alston was a walk-on to begin his Boise State career. Williams Goes back to the line.
Yeah, I love that comment about a Mountain West all walk-on team. And in fact, for any
Justin Bean of Utah State?
I think you're right, yes. And it goes for any young players out there watching this game. I know everybody wants to be recruited. So many people are overlooked. Don't lose sight of what your goals might be. Keep working, keep grinding. And those guys that you mentioned are all great examples of believing in themselves, getting in a situation where they can put their best foot forward, and then proving it.
Williams coming off that monster game against New Mexico. Drops to a free throw. Boise State with plenty of time on the clock, just trying to take a bite out of this big lead. Mbake Jong is in. This is about as big as the Rebels get with Blair and Mbake Jong in at the same time. Hamilton missed in tight. Williams sucks up the rebound. He's got a double-double, 10 points now, and 10 rebounds.
Mbake Jong played a much bigger role earlier in this season, started the majority of the year up until recently. Not much of an offensive threat, but defensively a rim protector and a rebounder.
Marvin Coleman, his second foul for UNLV. Marcus Dickinson, Justinian Jessup, Hobbs, Williams, Alston for Boise State. Feed is Williams.
There's the example of Mbake Jong being a rim protector. Gambled on the pass, but was able to get back and block the shot.
Tip from behind, that's going to stay with UNLV.
Mbake Jong a little out of position after going for the steal, but his length allows him to get back in the play and come up with a block shot.
Hamilton gets a rest along with Blair. Mitru Long back in. Coleman again to the bucket. Well, you know what? If you're not going to guard him, he's going to hurt you.
Boise State is slow to react on the defensive end.
You can see how far off they are in their normal night of shooting.
Coleman has a straight line drive. I mean, Jessup did what he needed to be in the gap and help side, but R.J. Williams stuck in the lap of Mbake Jong. He is the one who's got to rotate over and contest at the rim and trust the other defender is going to help on Mbake Jong.
Hardy, a three. And the rebound to Alston. An even 20. Boise State down. Max Rice in the game. Of course, Boise State had one of the greatest comebacks in their history this year against Utah State, down 18 late. Came back, tied it, got to overtime, and won it. And shots like that, not going to get it done.
Pretty indicative of Boise State's
Goodness.
Mitru Long continues to put on a finishing clinic, but Alston's great in the mid-range. And he just shot an air ball from 12 feet, 2 feet over the rim. That is unlike any Boise State offense I've seen this year.
Rice drives and misses. UNLV is getting to the rim tonight. Hardy drives, cut off. Mitru Long, a three. Got it! Wow, this is a beatdown right now.
Well, we've said you want to be playing your best basketball this time of year. Both teams have been, but it has been all UNLV all night long.
Williams. Mbake Jong with a steal off the block. Hardy. This crowd and this town starting to take a liking to this team.
Elijah Mitru Long Crafty with the finish, build your confidence. I'm going to knock it down from straight away and give you a little shimmy. UNLV up big.
You're watching March to March, presented by Smile Direct Club. When you go to the Maui Classic, they get you surfboards. That's where UNLV will be heading next December. Let's take a look at our Smile Direct Club transformative play of the game.
Well, they've been aggressive and attacking on both ends of the floor, has UNLV. They come up with a turnover, push in transition, and Boise State, for lack of a better term, a little bit of matador defense there in transition.
Well, this Boise State offense and maybe a good dose of run and rebel defense has Boise State at 25% from the field. Meanwhile, UNLV is still shooting like they did in that first half in the upset of number 4 San Diego State. They are shooting at a 57% clip, and you can see this half they're 11 of 14. Williams with the screen for Rice. And the pick and roll with a bucket. And it was a kick before the bucket. Timeout on the floor, 60-33. Running Rebels. Full header, Delaware, Charleston first. Louisiana Tech, Western Kentucky, and then into the West Coast Conference. St. Mary's, a tournament team many expect, and Santa Clara. That's at 10 right here on CBS Sports Network. Rich Waltz along with Dan Dickow in Las Vegas. Look at this, UNLV playing so well. And of course, they're coming off the big takedown of then number 4 San Diego State. And this was at Viejas, where few teams go and survive to tell about it. What was the formula in this one, Dan?
Well, they got off to a great start. Shot 57% in the first half and then held on for the victory. Elijah Mitchell-Long played really well, but tonight they've been clicking for all 30 minutes so far.
By the way, in that St. Mary's game, someone you want to keep your eyes on is Jordan Ford, who can shoot from deep.
Crafty guard. St. Mary's has always had good point guard play. Emmett Nahr, Joe Rahan the last couple of years, but Jordan Ford is more of a scoring point guard. He's been tremendous for Randy Bennett.
You know, there's been talk all season long that the West Coast Conference will get 3 in with BYU, St. Mary's, and Gonzaga. Running Rebels keep playing like this, and the Mountain West could get 3 in.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for the West Coast Conference, Gonzaga's a lock. BYU is now a lock. St. Mary's is almost a lock. I think if you look at UNLV or the 3rd team in the Mountain West, they've got to probably win the conference tournament.
Oh, for sure. But you got Utah State, who, unless they really stumble, is in. And obviously, you've got San Diego State, who's in.
But again, it goes back to playing your best basketball at the right time of year. And if you can take the momentum that you've gained over the last couple of weeks and run it into the conference tournament, you never know what happens with a San Diego State. You never know what happens with Utah State. But I will say this, nationally, the Mountain West is a really good conference that doesn't get its credit. Now, they kind of shot themselves in the foot early in the non-conference by struggling, but they've got many teams playing well right now.
They have, and some of that is just a new coach, like here at UNLV or up at Nevada and Steve Alford, and players getting used to the coach getting used to the players. Others, it's, you know, guys that were out. Cada was hurt for Utah State, I mean, in November and December, banged up in early January. Justin Bean was banged up. Merrill had a bad wheel. You have Kijab, who joined Boise State. That really improved them.
So much about athletics, winning a championship, or maximizing your season is staying healthy, or having the pieces come together perfectly at the right time. And quite frankly, a lot of the Mountain West teams haven't had that until the end of the year.
Rice steps into a 3 and misses it. got Colorado State with those young freshmen, Stevens and Roddy, who are much improved.
Boise State cannot buy a bucket.
Coleman. We're under 10 minutes. Hardy attacking. Hamilton pumping up a 3. Williams with the rebound. He's got 13 rebounds in the ballgame now. A double-double. Jessup with a tough night from the field. And that's a corner 3 by Dickinson.
That was an interesting shot. He shot that way out in front of him, and it was flat. I thought it was almost a lob to a teammate underneath the basket. At this point, Boise State will take anything that maybe sparks some life into him.
And a Boise State foul. Leon Rice and the Broncos have had a really nice 3-week run. They've won 8 of their last 10. But that foul there is a costly one. 4th on R.J. Williams. It's a quick turnaround for Boise State. They don't play this weekend, and they'll be right back in Las Vegas next week. Hardy. Coleman running out of room. Also running out of shot clock here. Step back 3, yeah!
Sometimes when you got it going, you got it going. And Amari Hardy has it going right now. Step back 3 with the shot clock winding down.
He's only 9 of 12 from the field, 21 points. Williams is down, and let's hope he's okay. Well, that's a guy that the Broncos can ill afford to lose. It's actually a foul on Williams. He's picked up his 5th, but the concern right now isn't the foul trouble. The concern is the senior, R.J. Williams. Ooh.
Coleman ran through the screen.
And that left shoulder. And the hopes of the Broncos next week right now will return to Las Vegas after this. 63-39, UNLV on top of Boise State. Let's see who stepped up tonight. Brought to you by Werner Ladder. It is senior night here. And for this senior, the transfer from Texas, Elijah Mitru-Long. This is a senior night that you dream about as a college basketball player. 13.6 of 10 for the field.
He came in tonight playing very good his last 3 games and has continued it. He's been crafty, putting the ball on the deck, getting into the creases and finishing. He's really done a tremendous job running the show for the Running Rebels.
Now, while we were away, R.J. Williams was helped up, walked out of here with help. He was doubled over in pain and seemed to be holding his side or his ribs. And we will get a report hopefully soon and get it to you as soon as possible. He was taken to the Boise State locker room. Mitru-Long. Werner Ladder appreciates that.
I mean, I said it about Amari Hardy. When you got it going, you got it going. And Mitru-Long has it going as well.
Nothing is going right for the Broncos. Hobbs shoots. Rice with the rebound. Jessup, and that's got to feel good for him. He had really struggled from the field. Jessup was 0 of 6 before that one goes down. So Dan Dickau, now coaches say sometimes you can play well but not shoot well. Is that the case with Boise State? I mean, they're shooting so poorly. Are they playing poorly, or is it just shooting poorly?
Well, it's hard to win any game as UNLV gets another bucket underneath by Blair. It's hard to win any game when you're shooting 25% from the field. They've done a decent job on the glass as Jessup gets another easy 2, but whether they've been in man or zone, they've really struggled to keep UNLV out of the paint with dribble penetration.
Jessup.
Why not?
Yeah, see, he can heat up quickly. A pair of threes, a cutting layup, and the lead is down to 20. 6.5 left here in Las Vegas. You're watching March to March, presented by Smile Direct Club. Justinian Jessup went 0 for his first 6. He's hit his last 3. And he can do this. He can heat up quickly.
Well, and the reason he's all-time leading three-point shooter in Mountain West history. He's a tremendous shooter. Struggled first part of this game, but he needs to keep looking for his shot, searching for his shot. You mentioned it earlier. Boise State came back from 19 down to force overtime against Utah State earlier this season. Did they have another miracle comeback in them?
Yeah, it was under 4. And they came back and tied that game and then won in overtime. They hit 5 threes in that span. They forced overtime, and they keep on chipping away. It's down to 18. There were some unlikely heroes in that comeback. Ray J. Dennis had 19 points in the last 3.5 minutes.
Career high in those 3.5 minutes.
Max Rice was on the floor. He was part of that comeback. Running Rebels get a bucket. That's Hamilton, who's got 20 now in the game. Hobbs. Coleman with the rebound. He's got 11 rebounds now. Mitru Long. And here comes Alston. Trail 3, key jab. No.
Keeps searching for opportunities at the three-point line. Did it against New Mexico the other day. Understand your strengths and to know your wheelhouse and get to those spots. He's a much better player in that mid-range or low post.
Coleman, way off. And Mitru Long with a foul on Hobbs. So Hobbs gets to the line. It's been a night dominated by UNLV and their guards. Their backcourt has been terrific. Amari Hardy's got 21. Bryce Hamilton's got 20. Eli Mitru Long with 15. And Marvin Coleman, all he's done is suck down 11 rebounds to go with 5 points. Good hand there by Jessup with Rice. Missed it. Jessup rebound, and he's fouled. Stops the clock. Broncos get free throws, and there's 4 minutes left.
Good job by just Jessup not giving up on the play. Gave it up to Rice. And as a young player like Max Rice, you've got to understand, you've got to be the one to go in and take the contact to the defender in that transition situation. Make sure you get to the rim, or excuse me, get to the line. If not, make sure you finish. The son of Coach Leon Rice. I'm sure that's an enjoyable dynamic within the Boise State basketball program.
Jessup is perfect from the line, and he's been that way all year. He's 95%, and good to see Williams back on the bench. Mitru Long fires one up. Bake Jong has a rebound, and he's fouled. 3:49 left here in Las Vegas. Big lead for the running Rebels.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Rogue. Don't Weaken. By Werner, the official ladder of NCAA March Madness. And by AT&T.
In Las Vegas, UNLV, the running Rebels are just a game over 500. Don't let that fool you. They are red hot right now. If UNLV wins this game, they go to 11-6. And Boise State, the regular season over for them tonight. They would go to 11-7. But think about this for UNLV. They win this game, it's their 4th straight win. And they'd be breathing down the neck of this team, Utah State. Utah State 23-7, 12-5, seemingly the number 2 seed. They're 9-1 in their last 10. Jerry Palm has them as a 9 seed. But UNLV in their last 4 games, and I'm including this one. There was a lot of time left. I know Boise State could make a miraculous comeback. Be fun to see that. But if they win this game, that's 4 straight, and those wins would be at New Mexico, at San Diego State, formerly unbeaten San Diego State, a beatdown of Colorado State by 24, and a shellacking of Boise State. And of course, Colorado State took San Diego State to the wire last night.
That'd be a heck of a way to finish up the regular season. We've talked a number of times about playing your best basketball at this time of year. Utah State's a great example. We just saw that graphic. They had some injuries early in the season, in particular to the big fella Keita, and he's a difference maker. Maybe he's not a polished product on the offensive end, but defensively and rebounding, it's hard to replicate what he does.
And there was a spell where Justin Bean was banged up, where Sam Merrill was banged up, and feels like suddenly Utah State is back to where they were last year. The throw from Alston is good. It's great to see him back on the bench. That was a scary moment for R.J. Williams. The 23 was down on the court, left with some help to the locker room, clutching that left side. The court pressure, almost a 5-second, 17-point lead. Screen for Hardy. Mitru Long penetrates against the zone. Runs into George. George blocks the shot. Ball's out of bounds. No reset. UNLV will have 3 seconds to try to get a shot up.
About the only mistake Mitru Long has made on the evening, forcing it right into the chest of George. But 3 seconds left. You've got to execute quickly, understand shot clock's going down.
Hamilton. Contested 3. George has the rebound. Boise State needs buckets, and they need them quickly.
George into a quick pick and roll in transition, but he left before getting a piece of the defender. You've got to free up your man, give him some space before you get out.
George with a layup. Look at Jessup fight for the rebound. There was no reset on the shot clock. That was close to an offensive foul twice. And Dennis gets a contested bucket. Boise State within 15. And remember that comeback they had wasn't against some patsy. It was Utah State.
Yes. Ray J. Dennis was a big part of it. 4 made threes in that stretch. Got fouled on another 3, so he made 3 free throws, and he had 2 finishes. for his 19 points, career high in a short 3.5-minute stretch.
Dennis pokes it loose, gets to the rim, is fouled, and Mitru Long with the foul. It stops the clock.
Yeah, but that's uncalled for. Mitru Long gets back, gets called for the foul, and he starts barking at Ray J. Dennis. I mean, you make a play on the ball, good. That's one thing. That is a foul, even though nice job on the block. But if we get a continuation, he's harping at the guy.
Fourth personal. Ray J. Dennis, the freshman out of Oswego, Illinois. First free throw is good. And you know TJ Otzelberger has thought a couple times here about that Boise State comeback. He knows exactly what they're capable of.
Oh, yeah.
Dennis with the free throw, so the lead is slimmed considerably. It's down to 13, 2:14 left here in Las Vegas. "13-point lead for UNLV. Boise State making a late run. All your college hoops from around the country. Inside College Basketball is coming up here on CBS Sports Network. Adam Zucker, Khalid El-Amin, John Rothstein, and Gary Parrish. Be interesting to get their take on just what UNLV has done in their last 4 games and what they might do next week in the Mountain West Tournament. They finished their season at San Jose State on Saturday. Something going on the running Rebel bench, and Mbake Jong is going to have to come back in. Jay Green will sit down.
UNLV tried to pull a fast one on the officials and get Mbake Jong, who's not a great free throw shooter, out.
Mitru Long gives it up, and Mbake Jong stripped to the ball. And it's going to be Boise State possession. Mbake Jong is down. Crowd doesn't like it. And here's a look. Max Rice. And you don't see where the ball went from there. But all of a sudden, Boise State.
You know, you get a quick bucket and a stop, and you're right in this game.
And Jessup is the guy they don't want to get loose. Jessup, 3, missed it, long rebound. Hamilton's got it. He's going to push, and he's fouled. Second personal on Justinian Jessup. 1-1 for Bryce Hamilton at 67% this year. Hamilton hits a free throw. TJ Otzelberger is in his first year. You can see him huffing and puffing and exhaling. There have been a lot of big moments in this facility. A win tonight is win number 500 for UNLV in the Thomas and Mack. If they can close this thing out.
There's been some good memories in this building.
Dennis was open but missed the 3, and I mean, it's really tough when you've had a rotten shooting night like Boise State to all of a sudden get immensely hot and come roaring back. Hardy into the lane, and he's fouled. Ray J. Dennis with the foul. As we noted, Boise State doesn't play another regular season game. Everybody's back here. Mountain West Tournament. It starts with the early rounds on Wednesday. We start our coverage at the quarterfinals a week from tomorrow night. Semifinal coverage, CBS Sports Network in the championship game with CBS Sports. Jessup hits a 3. 12-point lead. And foul, Hardy's going to go to the line. And you would think that, I mean, look, a week ago, everybody thought San Diego State good shot at being undefeated when they arrived here. TJ Otzelberger and the Runner Rebels went into San Diego, beat them by 3. Colorado State put a real scare into the Aztecs last night. And I mean, some people will say they're vulnerable, and that may be true, but the rest of the league has rapidly improved in January and February. UNLV is a great example of that.
Yeah, I've been impressed. I had UNLV earlier this year, January 1st, here at home against Utah State. And you could see that they were building something. They were far from the finished product, as they still are, but I've seen big improvement from there until now, February 26th. It's going to be interesting to see when Coach Otzelberger is able to put his full complement of philosophy together, but Jessup from deep.
And so now it's down to single digits.
Got a foul.
48 seconds left. Rice does foul. And Hardy's going back to the line.
Well, there's range and then there's deep range. This right here is deep range. About 8 feet behind the line. He's now got all 19 of his points here in the second half.
And remember, we told you at the half, he didn't have any points.
Yes.
And now he's closing in on 20. The biggest lead here in the second half was midway through the second half, a 27-point lead. Hardy's missed all 3 of his free throws. And he gets that one to drop, and we get one more. Misses that one. So the lead is 10, 44 seconds left. Dennis up the floor. Jessup trying desperately to create. Hijab fires a 3. Comes up short. Long tip. Hijab again. Another 3. Got it!
Making things interesting.
30 seconds left. 7-point UNLV lead. Well, if you went somewhere when it was 27, don't blame you. But here it's down to 7. Woo! Hijab got another look at it. Max Rice with a great tip out for the Broncos.
And that's why, you know, coaches always preach, just stay with it. Just stay with it. We need 1 or 2 things to go our way to shift the momentum. You know, you got to give Boise State a ton of credit. I mean, they were down, what, 24-25? They could have just thrown in the towel. I'm not sure what words were said. 27, actually, at one point. I'm not sure what was said in any of those timeouts, but they're a team that has showed a ton of perseverance and played with a lot of pride this last 7-8 minutes to make it interesting.
Again, we have mentioned it a couple times. The great comeback, down 18, under 4 minutes left against Utah State to get to overtime. And the Broncos won that ball game. Justinian Jessup was 0 of 6, did not have a point in that first half. He is 5 for 6 here in the second half with 4 threes, 19.7 rebounds. UNLV has not shot free throws well, 11 of 23.
And that's where Boise State, you have to know who you want to influence the ball to and then be prepared to foul that person quickly.
Mitru Long is tied up. He calls a timeout and then swings the ball, and they better get him out of there. And that's a nice move by Coleman to get him out from in front of the Boise bench.
This crowd wants a technical on Max Rice, who came over and poked the ball out of Mitru Long's hands. But there's been a couple times in this last 5-6 minutes, Mitru Long has started chipping it, guys, and it started in the first half when he made some shots and he kind of had some extracurricular hand motions, gestures, and activities. But you see here, he rips that away from Ray J. Dennis. That's uncalled for. And Max Rice just pokes it away.
The last thing you want to do, 26 seconds left, is pick up some sort of a flagrant or some foul like that. This is how Boise State has chipped away at a 27-point lead. Justinian Jessup has heated up.
He's been phenomenal in the second half. 19 points, and he's done it in a couple ways. He's gotten out in transition and found opportunity threes. He's created his own space. He's gotten out in transition. He's got himself fouled, got to the line. I mean, after the first half that he had, where he, quite frankly, struggled, missed some open shots, he's been really good here in the second half.
So there was no foul call. There was a timeout called. The officials are huddled at mid-court. Obviously, UNLV is going to have to miss a bunch of free throws here. Officials are still talking. Now, look, Mitri Long is in the wrong here, but Max Rice is in the wrong there. That's way after the play. That's escalating the situation, and the official quick to inform him of that. So are they looking at Long's rip of the ball or Rice's late poke?
I would imagine both. I mean, neither one is called for. Rice seems to be sticking up for his teammate, which any good team has kind of that philosophy, but I mean, Mitri Long was ripping away.
There was a dead ball, contact, technical foul.
And the official is going to come over, but it obviously looks like the Max Rice poke is the call, a two-shot technical. Mitri Long misses the first. And he's got one more coming. What was the verdict?
A dead ball contact technical foul. And it always seems to be the second guy is the one who gets caught or gets
but
the harsher penalty.
Understood, but that was right out after the play had ended, and it was in the middle and in front of everybody.
Quite frankly, yes. I mean, maybe Mitri Long could have got one as well, but Max Rice, you are right. Did escalate it just a little bit.
Hamilton in trouble. And another timeout by UNLV, their last, with 21 seconds left. Boise State's not going away easily here. Well, you know, at the outset of the telecast, we talked about what was at stake here for both teams. They both want to stay hot. They want that momentum going into next week. And UNLV, of course, hosts the tournament on this floor. Actually, not on this very floor. They bring a special floor in for the tournament, but you get what I'm saying here. And the Runner Rebels have just had an incredible ride for 2 weeks.
Well, I think it shows you so much of how hard it is to win on the road in this league. Boise State has only lost 2 times at Extra Mile Arena up in Boise. Obviously, San Diego State has protected home court in every game but one. UNLV, you know, they're 11-6 on the season at home, but in conference, they're really good at 6-2.
Of course, the Mountain West tournament here in Las Vegas. It's a week early this year, so it starts with the early rounds next Wednesday, a week from tonight. Neither of these two teams will be involved in those games. They've earned themselves a ticket into the quarterfinal day. But exactly who they're going to play and where they're going to be is still to be determined. For Boise State, this is their final conference game. UNLV cannot stop the clock. Boise State cannot stop the clock. Holman gets it in. And a quick foul there. And so Amari Hardy, 73% foul shooter, gets 2 free throws. A lot of the crowd, it was really nice to see the Thomas and Mack bouncing again tonight. You could feel it around town. There's a lot of momentum that's been missing for a while. A lot of the crowd already out the Maryland Parkway, Tropicana.
Will you be there shortly?
Heading out. Oh.
Well, it's a very proud basketball program. And, you know, they had a number of years where guys left early unexpectedly for the NBA draft, but there's some positive signs under TJ Otzelberger.
Ray J. Dennis, short there. Hamilton the rebound, bodies hit the deck. Hamilton away with the ball, racing away from contact. And Hamilton will hold it, and UNLV stays hot. 4 straight wins. TJ Otzelberger's team is the best kept secret out west right now. Road wins at the Pit and at Viejas against the number 4 team in the country. A beatdown at Colorado State, and they survive the comeback of Boise State. A double-digit win here. Number 500 at the Thomas & Mack for the Runnin' Rebels. Standings, Mountain West. In the final week, Boise State's done now with their 18 conference games. They'll finish at 11-7. UNLV, boy, wouldn't they love to catch Nevada and get the number 3 seed. And they're in the 4 seed right now. Dan, I'll see you here in Las Vegas next week. For Dan Dick, our entire CBS Sports crew, I'm Rich Waltz. This is a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. On to New York, back to Adam and the gang. Inside college basketball, March to March, presented by Smile Direct Club.